Iran has installed a domestically developed intelligent train control system on engines travelling between capital Tehran and the shrine city of Mashhad. The system monitors speeds of trains on the over 900-kilometer route. It also cuts the departure time of trains from each station to less than 8 minutes, increasing the passenger transfer capacity on the route by up to threefold. The railway is one of the busiest in Iran with 200 daily travels. It has cost Iran Railway Company 32 million euros to install the system on all engines operating between Tehran and Mashhad. The company said it has plans to electrify trains on the route that would raise passenger transfer speed on the railway to 200 kilometers per hour. The company also said the intelligent train control system is expected to be installed on engines across the national railway network. Children in a town just north of Tokyo have been learning about the history of the Tajima Yahei sericultural farm, designated as a World Cultural Heritage Site last year. They also made a candy version of the farmhouse. More than 160 people, including children and parents, participated in the event in Ganma Prefecture last week. Organizers say they wanted local children to learn that the Tajima Yahei sericulture farm is said to be a prototype of modern sericulture farms. UNESCO listed the farmhouse as a World Cultural Heritage Site, along with the Tomioka silk mill in 2014. After the lesson, children made roof tiles for a candy version of the farmhouse. They made an adhesive from liquid sugar and powdered ash to fix the tiles in place. The candy model was 1/15 the size of the actual farmhouse. Japanese home builder Daiwa House Group has unveiled a robotic suit for construction workers. The suit was developed by a venture firm in Tsukuba, north of Tokyo. It features a small sensor worn on the waist that can detect electrical currents sent from the brain to the muscles. The suit then uses motors to increase power when workers lift up a heavy material. The device is said to reduce by up to 40% the burden of lifting materials that weigh 20 kilograms. The robot weighs only about 3 kilograms. Daiwa House announced recently that it will put 10 robots into use at construction sites from May. The company says the robots will be put into full use a year later if they prove to be practical. The preparation of bees' honey is a complex natural process. People are used to harvest beehives to get bee honey from it. The bee honey hunting started long ago, and this has resulted in the reduction of the honey bee population in Sri Lanka. Forest destruction, the usage of pesticides, and the maintaining of high bee colonies without proper techniques are the other reasons for the decline in the population of bees in Sri Lanka. Preparation of bees' honey is also a beautiful process. Honey is the complex substance made out of nectar and sweet deposits from plants and trees which are gathered, modified and stored in the honeycomb by honeybees as a food resource for the bee colony. All living species of bees have had their honey gathered by indigenous people for consumption or for commercial purposes. Bees collect pollen in the pollen basket and carry it to the hive. The living pollen is used as protein source necessary for during brood rearing. Propolis or bee glue is created from resins and tree saps. Honeybees use propolis to seal cracks in the hive. The queen bee in the colony has the responsibility of creating their generation. The sweetness, color and smell will change on environmental factors and flowers. Therefore, the quality of honey cannot be determined by sweetness and smell. Sri Lanka is not producing adequate quantity of bee honey to meet local consumption. Therefore, a country has to import honey. Under this setup, a new program has been implemented to produce honey by an organization that protects the bee resource. The secretary of the association, Tisa Bandara Tambawita, said that it is essential to make honey for consumption during the New Year period. He said the ancestors were used to prepare honey cakes, but at present these cakes are being prepared by using molds and putting Kite honey or bees honey on top of it. These honey cakes could be kept for a long time without perishing. The Organization of Protecting the Bee Resource called on the large-scale landowners to provide an opportunity to maintain their bee colonies at these lands. It will help to make Sri Lanka self-sufficient for bee honey. The 32nd Weifang International Kite Festival attracted kite-flying enthusiasts from around the world to East China's Shandong province recently. Colorful kites of all sizes and variations filled the sky on the festival's opening day. Tu Huanghua, deputy director of the Macau Hippo Kite team, said his kites represent freedom and happiness. Tu said his kites are from the hippo family. The design represents a harmonious family with a papa, mama and children. With a harmonious spirit kites carry, he hopes to express freedom and happiness in the sky. Tu hopes every part of the world can see the long history of Chinese kites. The city of Weifang is believed to be the home of kites. The history of kites there has also won admiration from foreign visitors.
Great, fabulously great. I love the kites. We went to the Kite Museum yesterday. Terrific museum. Today, seeing all these kites, how can you not love it? It's just great. It's so interesting seeing all the different kinds of kites and seeing all the people out here flying their kites. It's a wonderful thing. I love it.
Nearly 1,000 swans were spotted recently in a nature reserve in northeast China's Jilin province as ice and snow have melted. This was the largest group of swans ever spotted over the past few years, according to the reserve. They were seen on the water surface in the daytime in the core area of the Xianghai wetland. They come to the lake in early April, according to one of the staff members at the reserve. Li Shifeng, a staff member of the reserve, said a family of 3 swans is staying at a block of land in the middle of the water. The swans migrate in big groups, but when stopping over, they usually stay as families. The 2015 King Tong Boats Festival was held recently in Taizhou City, East China's Jiangsu province. The annual event, which runs until May 3rd this year, has attracted more than 400 boats and over 10,000 participants. The Kitong Boat Festival was listed as the state-level intangible cultural heritage in 2008 and was labeled as the world's largest boat festival in 2009 in the Guinness Book of World Records. The Kitong Boat Festival has been an annual event during the traditional Tomb Sweeping Day in Taizhou since the Ming Dynasty, with dragon boat races the focus of the event. Some of the boats are decorated with objects themed on fairy tales and legends. Traditional Chinese opera performances, as well as dragon and lion dances, are also performed on the boats. The South Korean government is determined to promote exports of innovative products and materials. The decision is part of efforts to unearth and nurture niche markets in state-of-the-art technological fields. Polyketone is an innovative plastic material. Looking like rice, this material has been lauded as the most groundbreaking discovery since the invention of nylon because it's highly resistant to shocks, heat and chemicals. Polyketone manufacturers in the US and Europe have even received pre-orders for the material and plan to gradually increase its production as its popularity continues to soar. Wo Sang-sun, President Hyosung R&DB Labs, said this market has enormous growth potential because 400,000 to 500,000 tons of material account for less than 10% of the global market. whose value reaches 73 billion US dollars. Multi-screen systems that cover the walls surrounding the main screen in the movie theatres enable 3D images without the use of 3D goggles. This technology is expected to bring in around 1.3 billion US dollars in profits to the global market. Fuel cells, which supply electricity and heating using natural gas, have also been picked as a next-generation growth engine. Lee Sang-hak, Deputy Head, Creative Economy Initiative, said they will create conditions for a virtuous cycle of job creation and corporate investment. The government will also support the development of safety products such as an alert that awakes drowsy drivers. The retail and tourism sectors will launch a 5-week promotional campaign at the end of the month to stimulate consumer spending in Hong Kong. Starting from the 27th of this month until May 28th, local residents and tourists will be able to enjoy numerous promotional offers at over 10,000 retail outlets, shopping malls, restaurants and tourist attractions. The Quality Tourism Services Association is organizing this campaign known as Happy at Hong Kong Super Jetso with the aim of stimulating consumer spending in the city. Jetso is a colloquial term in Cantonese which means concessionary benefits. The government earlier allocated $80 million for the tourism sector. The Hong Kong Tourism Board will use part of this fund to finance the campaign. At the launching ceremony, Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development Gregory So says Hong Kong welcomes tourists to come and spend in the city, including those from the mainland.
We would like to cast a very positive image for tourism in Hong Kong, as well as we want all these great deals to benefit the people of Hong Kong, to ignite consumption, local consumption in Hong Kong.
He also notes that recent changes to the multiple entry permit scheme for Shenzhen permanent residents has not affected the city's tourism sector, as the policy is aimed at curbing parallel trading. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Hong Kong Tourism Board, Peter Lam, says the board will step up promotional efforts to draw more visitors from short-haul destinations. The Hong Kong Tourism Board says it will launch another promotional campaign in the summer months in hopes of attracting more tourists to come spend money.